But the truth of the matter is, if the farmer does not farm, you will not eat bread. If the person who mills the wheat grains does not start the business to mill the wheat, you will not eat bread. If that transporter does not start the transport business, you will not get bread. So do you see that it does not matter how much you pray for God to give you bread or to give you food? There has to be an entrepreneur somewhere to do the job so that your prayer is answered. Hi, my name is Eunice Minor, the Chief Sales Trainer and Coach at 20X Entrepreneur. I'm also the founder of Bismart, an online insurance comparison platform, and an author of 2 books, The Sell Me This Pen and Entrepreneurship Hits and Misses. So about side hustles. I know I've been accused of being against side hustles. I know the scripture that people read, they say, you need to have 7 different incomes. Yeah, because you don't know which one will give the results. I'm just paraphrasing. And when I look at that scripture, I don't think it talks about doing 7 businesses or doing 7 jobs. I think it talks about doing one at a time and investing in 7 different ways. Basically, investing where it doesn't require your time and your efforts. And if I just imagine, if all of us focused where we are and give the best effort into our current jobs, number one, we will not be laying off. Because yes, we can say the economy is hard, there are difficult times. But are we saying that human beings have stopped being creative? Over time, world over, in generations, difficulties, problems, challenges always bring forth opportunities. So why, yes, we may close that particular type of a business, but a whole business honestly should not be going down when it has employees. Because unless we say that God did not create us to be creators. But you see, we are so busy. You say you've been employed 8 to 5. So your job is an 8 to 5 job. And because it's 8 to 5, that means that after 5, you should be doing many other small businesses. Because that's my understanding of side hustle. I could be wrong. And I would like you to comment in the chat about your view about this side hustle business. I am open to learn because I am a curious person and I like to question. So just put your comment in the chat, in the comment section, and let us know your view and what you have observed. Of course, we will have a few success stories, but let's hear them. The success stories of people who have been successful in 7 different businesses at the same time. Okay? And so my understanding of that scripture that says you need to have 7 streams of income is not that you're doing 7 things at the same time. It is pick the one thing. I actually combine it with the scripture that says that whatever you put your hands to do it with all your heart, with all your mind, as unto the Lord. So when we say all your heart and mind, how many minds do you have? How many hearts do you have? What does all mean? It means focus on it. And how I interpret that is that pick the one thing, focus on it, 2 years, 3 years, give it all. Okay? Get all the ideas that you can get. So you're employed 8 to 5. My understanding of 8 to 5 job, it means that in 8 to 5, you're focused on the doing of the work. After 5, you need to rest. You need to do other activities that are not requiring too much of your brain so that you get ideas on how to develop that which you do 8 to 5. Why do I say this? And as I said, please put in the comment. Let's have this discourse, because we need to find out why a small business is not successful. So I get ideas when I am not in the doing. See, when I have realized, when I am so busy doing, and for those who follow me even on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, you will notice that there are at times that I'm not able to post on my Facebook. Now, those are the times that I'm so busy doing and I am not creative at all, because I am focusing on the job at hand. Now, when I take time to retreat is when I get ideas, is when now I'm able to see things in a different perspective. And I could be different. If you're different, if you're able to create when you are working, it means you're different. Please let us know. Put in the comment. Let's have this conversation. It's a conversation that this nation need to have. Because, should we kill these side hustles? Or should we continue this way? So, I just want to give my experience as an employee, and just to hopefully change your perspective or give you a different perspective. When I was working, all of you know I was working in Britain. When I was a country sales manager, I was one of the work that I was doing, which I used to tell people, I don't train, was training salespeople. I would go every Friday to different branches every week. And as I was going to branches and I'm training, I am helping the agents to sell, they would come to me and say, could you mentor me? Could you coach me? And all this. And I felt overwhelmed, because I'm like, how can I be in so many places? We had over 3,000 agents. How can I be in the presence of 3,000 agents at the same time? And that is when I decided that I need to create a manual, or I need to write a book that is going to be helping all the agents in the business. So because I was already working in the organization, my idea was to write the book, and it was to be, of course, a property of the organization. And I started embarking on it. So what I would do is that every Friday I'll send an article to all the 3,000 agents. And when my time came to leave, unfortunately, I had not finished writing the book. And when I left, I actually left. And the book project also stopped, because I was doing it for the 3,000 agents in the organization. Then guess what? COVID happened. Now, when COVID happened, remember, now I started the business in 2017. I was on the run. I had no time to be able to reflect and write. So 2020, COVID happened, and I'm able to take a step back and reflect. And a still small voice said, the book project. And so I went back to it. And I'm like, wow, it was such a wonderful project. And that's when I embarked on the project again. And this is how Sell Me This Pen book was authored. I had not seen myself as an author outside employment, but I became. But why did I become? Because all I was doing, even whether it was after 5 or midnight, whatever time, it was about how can I help my agents sell more every day. And this is why I think that if you really want to be successful, and I'm not using my measure as a standard of success, it is just my journey. I'm just sharing my journey. Other people have got different journeys, and it is okay. Please, let's share this journey so that we find which actually fits you. So for me, dedicating my 8 years in one company, fully, for me, full-time means full-time, 24 hours, 7. Okay, it doesn't mean that I will go to work at night. It just means that even as I'm walking around, even as I'm conversing with other people, I carry that brand. I want that business to grow. Why? Because when it grows, I also grow. I look at it, if you are the creative type, if you're the kind of a person who like to do quite a number of things, creative things, why don't you do what you're doing so well? Go to your boss, negotiate and say, for every other value that I add, can I earn an extra commission or, a bonus? Discuss that kind of a discussion so that then you fully focus on this and you are successful at least in one thing. And then you can build on that and succeed in many other things. And eventually they can become 7. All right? So that has been my thinking, my perspective. And when I left to start my business, then of course I immersed myself fully into the business. And I believe, it's a belief that because I gave my all, that my business, God has been faithful to help me, get the small wins or the big wins that I've got, because now I am fully present. So, back to the side hustle idea. I think because my experience in business, the first 2-3 years are so intense. You need to build system. So for you to be able to do that, could you stop other things so that you focus on one thing at a time? Once you're done with that and the systems are ready, grown people, leaders, because entrepreneurs are about growing and developing leaders. So grow leaders, let them take over. Now, of course, there is a disclaimer here because of this side hustle mentality, then employees are also not patient to be groomed. You see the problem we are bringing to all of us. So basically, I think we are our own problems. So the same thing you did in your previous employer is the same thing your employees are doing in your company. And I still believe there are remnants. I still believe there are people who can focus. And I've seen it in my own business. I have great people that I work with. And they are there to build the business. And we discuss like partners. As we're growing, they actually start with very small salaries and they keep growing and they keep growing. So this is a call to all of us. Let's have this conversation about side hustles. Should it be killed or should it be what exactly should we do to help, instead of having so many small businesses all over, build big businesses that are going to transform our societies? Because I believe that business is the way that God answers people's prayers. I know that sounds, so religious and so spiritual. But the truth of the matter is, if the farmer does not farm, you will not eat bread because they did not farm wheat. If the person who mills the wheat grains does not start the business to mill the wheat, you will not eat bread. If that transporter does not start the transport business, you will not get bread. So do you see that it does not matter how much you pray for God to give you bread or to give you food? There has to be an entrepreneur somewhere to do the job so that your prayer is answered. But then how can we make sure that we build businesses that are so impactful and transformational? I believe that there need to be a change of mindset, a transformation of mind, so that we start looking at where you are at. Yes, whether they started with, paying you 10K, 15K, 20K, 40, 50, what is it that you can do to help the business grow so that you grow? I borrowed this scripture. If you know the story of Israelites when they were in Babylon, when they had this prophet telling them, mtatoka Babylon, and God sent Nehemiah and told Nehemiah, go and tell them, I'm not delivering them from there. They're going to stay there for another 70 years. But meanwhile, let them continue going about their business. Let them continue marrying and getting married. Let them continue building houses, and let them continue doing their business. And there was another addition that, and they pray that Babylon prospers. Because when Babylon prospers, they will also prosper. Many employees look at where they are employed as their slaves of that employment. And you'll hear people saying, I'm slaving. Okay? Now, if you're slaving, Israelites were in Babylon, they were taken captive there. So if that is where you are, can you pray, and not just pray, work so that that organization prospers? Because when it prospers, you will also prosper. That is how I look at it. Give it your all. Give before you take. That is very important, because the Bible also says that it is more blessed to give than to receive. I know you will say this is so spiritual, you can't touch blessings. No, you will experience them. Because do you know, when you give, apparently for me, when I give is when I feel so fulfilled. What am I doing here? I am giving my experience to you for free. And you know what? It comes back. And this is how it comes back. Because you will come and say, hey, could you help us? Could you coach our sales teams? Could you train our salespeople? Could you help us grow our business? That is when you will pay me. Because money is a reward for value added. So when you add value, when you keep adding value, you receive money. Because people will pay for it. People do not buy things, they buy things because they have seen value in it. So what is it that you can give where you are? I'm speaking directly to employees. I am speaking to entrepreneurs who want to do 20 businesses at the same time. What is it? Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you have these many businesses, how can all these businesses work together so that one is feeding the other one? So that then you don't overwhelm yourself doing so many things. That's the other thing you may need to look at. And I'll give you an example. 20X Entrepreneur is a sales consultancy business. So when we go to organizations, you all know that we have Bismart, which is an online insurance agency. So what we see is that when we help entrepreneurs build their businesses, they also want to buy insurance through us. So 20X becomes like a lead generator for Bismart. So think about all these things so that you're focused on one thing at a time and grow the many businesses. Now, I am not saying that there's a problem with having many businesses. I am saying that at the beginning, you can't start all of them at the same time. I am saying that when you start, you focus on one, give it wacha ikuwe na miguu, let it have legs and wings so that it can fly, and people, leaders within those businesses. Then you go to the next. Again, put your everything there. Let it have legs and move to the next. So yes, you can be a serial entrepreneur, but you cannot be an entrepreneur you cannot start all businesses at the same time. That's my observation. I could be wrong, but you know the best. Let's have this conversation in the comment section. Do you like this content? Are you enjoying this content? Please subscribe, share, comment. Let's keep the discourse going. Thank you. See you in the next video.